What's going on once again, YouTube?
What is up, y'all? We are back again and live from DR.
As y'all can see, beautiful background. We just wanted to touch up on kind of what's going on with the organization right now.
Yeah, and this is just something that we had been thinking about because I think it's so easy to lose track of time whenever you have left the organization and it's been some years, you know?
Yeah.
And lose track of maybe how many people are really leaving. So it was just something that we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So with us, as we talked about before, we left during COVID and we kind of moved on from there, and then down the line last year we figured let's do a video about when we used to be witnesses, and then that became a channel, but we didn't realize how many people are still
leaving.
Yeah.
And so many people had left during COVID, and I feel like ever since that, it's giving the same as it did back whenever a bunch of people left, whenever they predicted when the end of times was going to be.
Yeah, like 1975, that
yes,
era.
it's giving that era all over again. I feel like 2020 was that era, and then it's like a trickle effect down, you know? Even whenever you look at how the organization has positioned itself and has made and implemented so many different changes, just like they did back then. Like the people who were witnesses during 1975 and prior to that, the organization looked completely unrecognizable 5 years after that.
That's so
not
true.
Even 5 years after, you know? But if you talk to people back then, they're like, it looked completely different even just 5 years later, which is literally what is happening now. It's beginning to look unrecognizable from what it did in 2020.
That quick. Even in the past year, just the beards and the disfellowship and saying to being removed and things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, when we first left, we knew we left, but we didn't realize how big this was. So once we started doing this channel, so many people, we didn't know that people were leaving after, watching our content that have already been thinking about it. We didn't expect to have that type of impact on nobody.
Definitely not. Side note, anybody who has sent us messages like that that means the world to us. That's more than anything else that we could have imagined. Because we've talked about this before, but if we are able to impact one person in a positive way, to even give them the courage to leave a cult like this, that's so mind-blowing to us.
Yeah, because that's not, like we say, our plan isn't to drag people out. We just want to cover topics or talk about our experience or our point of view.
Yeah.
And if that just happens to
spark
something in somebody for them to be able to reach this journey in life, that's a lot. So we kind of covered on some of those things before, but just kind of what to expect or how to make this process a little easier.
And we had an influx of subscribers, and we didn't even realize how many videos we have posted, but it's now over what?
Over 80.
We have over 80 videos posted on different topics about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and the organization. So we understand as people who take in other people's content that it can be a task to sit there and scroll down a bunch of videos to find what topic.
Yeah, for real.
So if you're one of our day ones and you're hearing this information over again, we just want to warn you, that's why, okay?
Right, but it's one of these things we noticed that more people are fresh out.
Yes.
And we kind of covered this before. One thing, all right, so JT and Lady C used to say all the time, when you wake up, you are in a mix of emotions.
Yeah.
One of them is you furious and you want to go run and tell everybody, or even try to explain to family or friends why you leaving.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, when you wake up, it's a process. You don't just wake up one day and go from fully believing to just not no more. Usually it starts with something just doesn't feel right. Man, I don't know what it is, but it's just something. So that right there is step one.
Yeah.
And then you begin to, instead of pushing it to the back of your mind like you've been doing, you go and want to identify what it is. And that may be going online to read something.
And seeking out questions that you have always or that have always gone unanswered, because I feel like all of us have had questions that we may have even asked an elder or the person who gave us our Bible study, and they weren't able to answer it, and they're maybe like, let me do some research on that and I'll get back to you next week.
That happens.
But do they
the
ever get back to you? Or when they do try to get back to you, they give you this like super vague answer where it's like, well, new scrolls will be opened, and that's whenever our answer. That's not satisfying, and like people try to make you seem like a demonic person or a person that's disobedient just because you have questions and you want to seek answers. And a Christian's favorite line. Don't mind my tangent right now, but this has been happening to us recently. Their favorite line is, oh, you have to walk by faith, not by sight. Well, listen, we were given 2 eyes and a brain for a reason.
Yeah, and things should make sense if it's coming from the perfect person. So these are things you have to watch out for, and they gaslight you with the, oh, it's okay to have questions. It's not. So back into, what you go through, you realize something is wrong. You may have had questions and never got answered, and then you go looking. Yeah. And at that point, you may find the answers you were looking for. Yeah. The problem is you instantly want to run back to tell somebody else, but this other person didn't even notice anything wrong. And so their mind is not prepared. The only thing they prepare for is if somebody says this, make sure it's, it's not apostasy. And if it is, shut it down. So they brains, you are sincerely trying to say something, and they brains go and put that wall up. Wait a minute, what you been reading? Are you questioning Jehovah or the organization? And it goes to that. So that's something you just have to be prepared for and understand. Yeah. And it's not your job to wake everybody else up. Like at one point, you may not have been ready for what you heard years ago, and you may have been the same way that your friends or family are. So just be understanding, because it's not personal. It's not their fault. They're brainwashed by a cult. Like it's literally designed that way to brainwash all the members. Yes. That way nobody can come in and influence them. Yeah,
that's the truth. I think that is key right there, to not take it personal, because we take it just like they used to tell us, okay, when we would go out in ministry, like if somebody is saying like, oh, we don't want this information, don't take it personal. They're not declining you, they're declining God, that kind of thing. Okay, so flip it around. They're not declining you. It's called cognitive dissonance. So if you have been told something your entire life, especially something that is the root and the basis of your entire life.
Religion and politics, that's the 2 things right there.
Yes, and you're telling somebody information that makes them question the basis of their whole life, their whole being.
Their foundation.
That's a lot to take in. So you can't expect people to just openly receive the information. If you do, you probably have a unicorn of a friend or a family member or somebody that's already been on that mind track and just needed somebody to be like, hey, I found this out too, kind of thing, It's true. Not normal to just be able to take that information in and accept it.
I agree. And also, we can say from experience, because this doesn't have to be every single person, but a lot of us slowed down before we woke up. We weren't extra zealous and all that stuff. We were starting to become exhausted or tired down. Yeah. And that's why they don't want you missing meetings or not doing your studies, because that increases the chances of you just slowing down a little bit.
Exactly. They want you fully in and fully indoctrinated, and that's usually why the people who are painted as spiritually strong are very, very involved in that community. So they are, the pioneers, they're the elders, they're the ones that are devoting the majority of their time to this religion, because if you are devoting the majority of your time to something, then it's very easy to only be able to see that. And you know what? You don't even see it just with religion. But when you think back to 2020, during COVID, so many people were slowing down. They were forced to slow down in life in general. Sure. People not only switched religions then, but they began to really question the government, question politics. They changed a lot of things about their mental health, because they didn't even realize how depressed they were, and so many things that they weren't dealing with internally. So there was a massive shift that happened during that time. And we see it even to this day, while being on vacation. It's so easy for life to kind of weigh you down, and whenever this is why balance is so important.
For sure.
Because whenever you take those moments of breaks, like it has always catapulted us into what we view as like our next level. You know what I mean? So whether that be in career or personal life or personal growth and development, like it's always moments like this where we get to slow down and just take in the present time, you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be on a vacation, you know? It could be in your normal life, like taking a day to slow down, and it just helps you to, you know, balance out the rest of your life.
Yeah, and go from there. So just some things to take into mind, that chances are you slowed down a little bit before you woke up. Every once in a while, you might have been all the way in it, and then something happened, and you like, whoa, wait a minute, something ain't right. But so just take that into consideration. If you are trying to convince somebody that's a super witness, chances are they may not be ready to receive that.
Yeah, you know? And that's okay. Like, I think it's hard to come to terms with that, but like coming to terms with it's okay for other people to have different paths.
It is, because everybody is on their own journey on their own time. It wasn't meant for us to wake up until we actually woke up. And it's nothing personal. Some people might not wake up at all, and unfortunately, we want to change other people when we feel like they're doing something that's not good for them.
Yeah, just like they try to do us, you know?
But it's out of our control. It's not our job to change everybody else. And it's hard to come to terms with in the beginning, but after a while, you just learn to live with what life is. And something else, this is, in the beginning stage, it's hard to understand, but after a while, you become more, I won't say rebellious, but you realize like the elders don't have power. A lot of people, for real though, you notice a lot of individuals when they first wake up, the first thing they feel like they need to do is
go tell the elders.
Yeah, go tell the elders or turn in a letter. And I remember one time somebody in the comments was saying, no, you need to go tell the elders. That way you can break free.
Don't need to do anything.
Why do you need to tell the elders anything? Whose rule is that? That is not life's rule. That's the organization's rule. Whatever you do, you need to come to us first for permission. And so what happens is people write a letter to disassociate, not realizing the rules is like a fine print. If you disassociate, the same rules apply as disfellowship. No, you getting cut off regardless. And they don't read your whole letter. All it is once they confirm, even in conversation, do you not believe this is Jehovah's organization? All they're looking for is yes or no. If you say, I don't believe it is, conversation over. Same with the letter. If you write that in the letter and your letter is 3 pages, and the first paragraph say that, they are not reading your whole letter. It's just confirmation that you are an apostate now.
Yeah.
And so don't feel like you need to turn in a letter and give them permission or ask for permission on,
hey, let go.
Yeah, I'm leaving. No, we bounce. It's to this point, we still not even disfellowship as far as we know.
We're waiting on the day.
Yeah, but if they do, so what? We not going to the meeting or hanging around the people at the meeting. So don't feel like you owe an explanation to these people. You don't. You found that it was a cult, you left.
They created these rules. This isn't like a rule. You're not going to go to prison if you don't tell them that you don't believe in this organization anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's almost the same idea as, okay, if an employer wants to fire you, you get no warning. You have no warning if they want to fire you. But if you want to leave then, it's like you have to put in 2 weeks, 1 month notice, you know. And I'm not saying to not put it in, because I've always put that in, just in case I ever want to go back, you know. But that's the point. Like, they just made this up, and it benefits them. It's not really going to benefit you.
I like how you compared it to a job. Think of it as you just hit the lottery and you're not about to go to work no more. Like, you hit the lotto for $200 million and you in your 50s.
And you're weighed down by this job. Like, you absolutely hate this job. You're weighed down. The people suck towards you.
And you don't need to ever be at this job ever again. Like, you are done. Don't feel like you need to put in a 2 weeks notice when you in your 50s and you got $200 million and your house is already paid off.
$2 million.
What? Yeah, $2 million. I'm out.
$2 million.
Yeah,
that's my life.
For real. We were just thinking that because so many, like, even at the gathering, we had Chris come up and tell us, like, he recently woke up. Like, dang, like, we didn't realize.
Not just him. There was that
the young kid too.
I feel like maybe his name was Bryce. I hope that I hope that it was Bryce. I think it was Bryce. But anyway, we'll insert the clip because we have a small clip of him too.
Yeah.
And this kid, it was crazy how inspiring his story was, because he was only like, I think he's only like 19 or something.
He was young.
And he's the only person that left from his family. It was just him. Like, and you know, the XJW community was able to kind of like rally up and help get him some resources and things, like a car. But it's just crazy that, yeah, people are, obviously they're still leaving. And like, we know that in the back of our heads, but like to see it in our face like that, and now that takes some serious courage to be that young.
And it happens.
Yes, and I think that you know, there's a lot of PMO younger kids that message us.
Okay. Hey there, my name is Bryce Dun. I'm from Florence, South Carolina, and I was able to escape the witnesses at the age of 18.
18?
Disfellowshipped, born in, baptized at 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you now?
19. 19,
oh,
yeah.
so you're fresh out.
Yeah, fresh out.
Oh my God. Is your family in it?
Yeah, all in it. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Siblings and parents too.
Wow. Well, we're happy to have you here.
It's good to be here.
That's right. All right, thank you. Cam.
Hey.
What's up, Cam?
Me again.
With the Smurf. You're missing the goat.
The goat? I give all my goats away.
We can get the goat from the inside.
Ava. Shout out to Ava, always opening, Ava and Mike opening their home up. Appreciate them. All right, y'all.
Because technology is out. It's not like the back in the day when you had the Raymond Franz book that hopefully you got your hands on, or the internet didn't have as much to offer. Now it's everywhere, so people are curious, and they always talk about apostate. Watch out for apostates, and because obviously it's a problem if they got to keep talking about it.
I agree, and I think a message to the young PMO kids who have like reached out to us, the only advice that I ever give is to like try to have your ducks in a row. Like, try to mentally prepare yourself, and also set yourself up in a good position financially, that you're not going to have to be thrown out into the wolves and then also be surviving off of like nothing, you know? So while you have the support, even though it sucks, go get yourself like a trade, like a good trade certificate, you know, for the guys like electricians and you know, all of those trades, like they make great money, and you'll be able to be independent.
Or any career on top of that, because
Yeah.
you no longer, once you are a PMO, you know this is not the truth. So you are able to break all the rules of the organization. Like, don't feel like, man, I'm not gonna have no friends. You can live as what they call a double life. You can make friends outside the organization now, and you don't have to confess, because you know the elders aren't. It's not a real thing. You're allowed to venture out at whatever career you want to learn about. If you want to learn about real estate, because you know it's wicked to go after material. You can go after material things now, as far as learning stocks. These type of things are okay now.
And for kids to learn that, like, man, I think we have made a finance video in the past, but like, for kids to learn, if you're in your teens or early 20s, if you learn about investing, like really just delve yourself into investing, you have all the time on your side.
You do.
Because I think it's like every $1 has the power to grow into like $90 whenever you're 18.
Yeah.
So that's like, just think about that. That's amazing. So yeah, just thinking about things like that and setting yourself up for success, you know, because you have to remember, like, your support, if you want to leave, like, for many people, their support system is going to be stripped away from them.
Right, I agree. And this is another point I just thought of too. With PMOs, you don't owe nobody an explanation. Like, even if you feel like you're not ready to lose your foundation and your family and everything, you don't even have to explain that I don't believe this if you're not ready to lose everybody.
Oh, that's a good point.
You can keep it to you can know for a fact. It's so many people we know that family don't even know that they woke, because they have private conversations with us, and we understand, like, all right, you don't want people to know, all right, cool, we keep it anonymous, and you can literally live the life you want to live, keep it your business, and not tell your family. You can just, you know, string them along. Oh yeah, you know, I've just been discouraged. Oh yeah, I'll get around to. Ain't been to the meeting.
I'll come to the memorial. Be a memorial witness.
Yeah, if that's what you got to do, if that's what's working for you. But you don't owe. This is the most important part. You don't owe anybody an explanation, because you're not gonna get in trouble. You don't have to.
Yeah.
And I want to say one final point I had, in case you had some more too.
No, go ahead.
Okay. after a while, you learn to be comfortable with looking like the crazy person. Because every last one of us, and you just have to look at how people perceive you and what reality is. Just think of, think about somebody that wants to become the greatest basketball player ever, like Kobe Bryant. When he came into the league, he was just some kid. But in his mind, all right, I'll look crazy, but I know what I have right here is the true formula that's going to work. Like, this is it. And he became who he was, even if people didn't understand it. And that's what it's like being a so-called apostate. We know that this is a lie. If you don't understand it, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
that's not, I shouldn't feel bad. It's just like, Santa Claus. If I say Santa Claus ain't real and a kid doesn't understand it, that's, oh well.
Yeah, dang, you're gonna just rip away their dreams like that.
Not saying like that, like actually telling the kid that, but if a kid can't understand that,
I get
all right,
it.
well, you don't get it.
Right.
But in the end of the day, this is a cult. If you don't get it, oh well.
And I feel like we've become pretty comfortable with looking like kind of loony, because even when it comes to other things, we're kind of conspiracy theorists already to begin with. And so you just have to be comfortable with being looked at as a little crazy. But then look, down the line, things start coming into the light and we're like, definitely talked about that 3 years ago.
Yep, just like the beard. We posted the throwback of what we said, watch. Next they gonna start letting them wear beards.
And the disfellowshipping thing too.
Yep.
Even though they still disfellowship, but they changed the policy.
Yep, so at the time people, and this is the thing, the people that look crazy are the ones that actually are reading and doing the research.
And that's why you look crazy.
Yep, and the ones that are calling you crazy ain't read nothing. So that brings the confidence to be like, you know what, I'll wear this as a badge of honor. So what, you think I'm a crazy apostate? But in reality, you are the crazy one knocking on people's doors and telling them, any day now the world about to end and all that. You know what I'm saying? So you were comfortable with, or at least became used to being looked at as crazy for being a witness to everybody else in the world.
Yeah, and the more that you read, the more knowledge that you acquire just in we have all the knowledge at our fingertips if we want to. They make things so simple. You can listen to books. You don't even have to read them anymore. You can listen to them. I still like to read, but
Same.
You can also listen to them. You have podcasts out here. You have so many different avenues of information and things that you can go and look up for yourself, that there's no reason that none of us should ever be misinformed or not informed on a topic that we are interested in. And the thing is, whenever you do attain more and more knowledge, you will probably be able to meet people at their level of understanding. But not everybody is going to be able to meet you at your level of understanding. So you can't take people's especially, when we get these crazy Christians, I'm not even kidding. We have so many crazy Christian trolls in our comments and in our DMs. And whenever they come into our DMs, sometimes we can't do anything but laugh, because
we've been there already.
We've been there and we've done the research. I ask you about one specific religion and you only know about Christianity. You don't know about any other religion, any other kind of gods, nothing else. So we can't have that conversation.
No, we always compare it to high school algebra versus second grade math. The person in high school already been to second grade. But when you're talking about algebra to a second grader, they only know 2 + 2 is 4. They are not able to enter this conversation about a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you realize it's a waste of time when somebody is trying to convince you, 2 + 2 is 7. Okay, conversation over.
No, seriously, it's the closed-mindedness. And what's so crazy is I have the chakras tattooed on me, and people will talk about the chakras and them being demonic, okay? But literally your pineal gland is right here, and this is what determines if you are spiritually connected to other people. It shows the closed-minded versus open-minded. If your pineal gland is closed, you're probably a closed-minded person. If it's open, you're probably an open-minded person. And then you have to look into how to be able to open a gland like this, you know? So everything has a source.
It does.
And the more you learn, the more you realize everything is freaking connected.
It's not divided the way that they teach. And even, I like how you brought up doing the research. Everything that they call demonic, I like to ask, firsthand or somebody told you? Well, I read in it. Oh, conversation over. Yoga's demonic. Oh, you do yoga? No, I never. All right, you never been there. Don't tell me what the weather is like in Punta Cana if you ain't never been. somebody else told you it was snowing in Punta Cana, and we here and we looking like, now we've been here for a little minute, especially say we've been living here for the last 20 years. You more than likely to listen to the people that actually been there instead of somebody that, well, I ain't never been, but I heard.
And the crazy thing is, you'll talk about a practice that you do, and a person can immediately associate you with a different type of religion. Like, didn't we say we're not religious?
But religious people can't understand not belonging to a religion.
We're not, but we practice a lot. We have a lot of spiritual practices, even when it comes to like prayer. We do manifestation. People don't realize like prayer and manifestation, they're the same, one and the same, okay?
Exactly.
But you know, that's our little mini tangent.
Now, wrapping this video up, we want to leave y'all with one more message, and that's research and learn everything. Whatever you come across, because you don't know what you don't know. And you don't have to rush and pick another belief. You can look at as many beliefs you want to, and you don't have to select one. You can go, oh, I like that. Okay, I'm going to keep this one. Oh, I like how these people do this. Okay, and you do what works for you, and you don't have to force everybody else to go with your vibe, because there's approximately 4,000 religions. All of them, out of that 4,000, feel like all of them are wrong except one. And people like us just say, well, all 4,000 wrong then. It's just a 1-digit difference. That's it. And we just look at it like everybody has a piece of something that works. But nobody can have all the answers to be like, we the ones. It's too many gods. It's too many books. It's too many beliefs. It's too many leaders. And it's all man-made stuff. So you don't have to rush. And if you do want to be that, you can. But you don't have the rights to go and force everybody else to do that. Just like with our content, some of the witnesses and Christians, oh, well, y'all doing the same thing. No, we make content for those who would like to see this, but we're not going and trying to recruit, because we don't have nothing to recruit you to except freedom. That's about it. Like we don't have, we're not inviting you to come to some building or to read some book to learn something or to go worship. Like, we're just saying, hey, read whatever you want and see what works for you.
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's it.
But that is it, y'all. I think we're going to close this video out. Don't forget that we have our healing journals, okay? We have the Pimo version and the regular version. Shout out to everybody who has gotten their copy and have been giving us the reviews. I love to hear it.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, and then we have our
Instagram at Awaken Truths IG. We have our new TikTok page, and that is at Awaken Truths LLC. For y'all that got the healing journal, y'all can even do a TikTok video just explaining like a review or something like that. Same with Instagram. Just let us know what y'all think.
Oh, and then we can stitch it.
We can.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I think we're also going to be doing like a mini vlog of this trip, because it was my birthday, y'all, so it was a birthday trip, and it's just been fun. We got to roll cigars and stuff. We smoked our first cigars. It was pretty fun.
Yep, so yeah, it was a cool time, and this just shows like once you leave this cult, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yes, if we were still witnesses, we would have been not able to go roll cigars.
Yep.
That would have been whack, because that was like such a part of the experience.
Yeah, and we don't have to wake up and Sunday, all right, we got to make sure we find the kingdom hall. Like, no, like you get to be free and do what you like to do.
Even the first day, whenever the tribes were talking about like all of their gods and stuff, like that's stuff that we would have felt guilty about.
Or get up and leave.
Yeah, and I'm not like this is like interesting stuff to learn about.
And you don't have to be a part of something. You can learn or read or watch and be like, okay, that's cool.
And be respectful about it. Like we are not disrespectful to other people's beliefs unless you are disrespectful to us.
Yeah, once you come bothering us with that church BS, okay.
Especially if you're disrespectful about it. Like
y'all, you going to hell? Oh, okay. You want to open up that can of worms? All right, well let's go there.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll catch up with y'all when we get back to the States. We got some more heat on the way.
Most definitely, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will catch y'all in the next one.
Peace.